Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the second coding session of learning how to code. My name is Tyler. I've never coded before, and I'm pretty sure what I'm learning is, I don't know what grade level it's at. We're coding our very own cat photo app, and it's going quite well right now. But I am on step number 15 at the moment, and I'm just going to keep going. There's not really anything to introduce. In previous steps, you use an anchor element to turn text into a link. Other types of content can be turned into a link by wrapping it in anchor tags. Turn the image into a link by surrounding it with necessary elements. And use FreePhotoCat app as the anchor's href attribute. I go href. I think that's working. And then at the end, /a. href equals wait, why'd that go to a new line? There, I did it. I actually did it. I got it. Okay. That's href equals the link. And then next is the image. And then there was the alt text. That was the first time I've had an anchor, an src attribute, and an alt attribute all in the same anchor text. So that was kind of like a lot to process because I didn't know like the order they were supposed to go in. But I think I understand it now. You start off with a link, and then you go with the image src, and then the image, because that's the thing we wanted to make the thing that's clickable. And then the alt attribute is the text that shows up if the image fails to load. So it's not super necessary, but that's just there for accessibility. Okay, before adding any new content, you should make use of a section element to separate the cat photos content from the future content. Take your h2 comment, p and anchor elements, and nest them in a section comment. So do I go section? Is that what it wants? Your section element should have a closing tag. Got it. Doing good. It is time to add a new section. Add a second section element below the existing section. All right. Do I need to do both of them? Oh, but don't call it section 2. There it is. Literally just another thing below it. I get it. So once one's closed off, you can start another one and then close it off again. I was making that way more difficult than I needed to. Okay, within the second section elements, add a new h2 element with the text cat lists. I can do that. Easy step. When you add a lower rank heading element to the page, it's implied that you're starting a new subsection. After the last h2 element of the last section element, add an h3 element with this text. So I think I go h3 things cats love. That work? Oh, I need to add the colon. There we go. It's very specific. Gotta have the colon. Okay. After the H3 element with the things cats love text, add an unordered list UL element. Note that nothing will be displayed at this point. What's that? There we go. Okay. I now sort of understand what that means. Look, things cats love. We kind of got it. Okay, use the item list li elements to create items in a list. Here's an example of list items. So if ul li milk. Oh, but it wants these things. It wants catnip, laser, pointers. Is that gonna do it? What did I do wrong here? Oh, not lit laster pointers. Typo. It's a typo every single time. I gotta be very accurate. It shows me the results right here. Right? The things cats love. I think it happens like as I go. If I delete one, it goes away. Okay, after the unordered list, add a new image with an src attribute next to it. That's the image. src equals, that's the image link. Yum lasagna, look at that lasagna. Looking so good. And then we go space alt equals parentheses a slice of lasagna on a plate. And then we close it. And I think that's it. We did it. Nice. The figure element represents self-contained content and will allow you to associate an image with a caption. And that's the image you just added with a figure element. Okay. That means I put figure like that. Okay, nice. And that's self-contained content that will allow us to associate it with the caption. A figure caption, fig caption element is used to add a caption to describe the image contained within the figure element. For example, fig caption A is the caption. If after the image nested in the figure element, add a fig caption element. So this right here, fig caption. I wonder if it wants it in quotations or not. Okay, will that do it? Okay, quotations. Oh. I just wasn't supposed to have the quotation marks around it. The caption should not have quotations. But now it says the caption, cats love lasagna. Cool. Okay, emphasize the word love in the fig caption element by wrapping in an emphasis EM element. An EM. What is it? Emphasis. Is that going to make it bold? Oh, that made it italic. Easy step. After the figure element, add another H3 element with the text, top 3 things cats hate. Perfect, perfect. The code for an ordered list is similar to an unordered list, but list items in an ordered list are numbered when displayed. After the section element, last issue, add an ordered list. Okay. So we're going to go with OL, flea, cats hate flea treatment. I'm sure everybody would hate flea treatment if they had to go through it. All right, here we go. It's working. So there's no number. Maybe there has to be multiple before the number shows up. Thunder? Thunder. OL. And then LI. LI. That did it. And then at the very end, we need to have /OL, and then it should be good. Yeah. You can see there's now numbers next to the list. Perfect. Okay, after the ordered list, add another figure element. Okay, another picture. Like that. Cool. Inside the figure element, add an image element with an src attribute set to. I'll copy that. So it goes img src equals. Oh, it's because there's a period in there. That's why. Now it's working. Oh, it's so cute. That's so cute. Accidentally copy and pasted the period. To improve accessibility of the image, add an ALT attribute. Space ALT equals 5 cats looking around a field. Quotations. 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 I love my quotations. We got it. Keep going. We are overflowing. After the last image element, add a fig caption element with the text, cats hate other cats. Nasty. We got it. Cats hate other cats. They're all so mad. The strong element is used to indicate that some text is strong or importance or urgent. Put strong captions. Okay, so I go strong like that. Does that bold it? It does. It worked. Okay, next section. Is it time to add a new section? Add a third section element below the second section element. I understood what they wanted that time. Inside the third section element, add an H2 element with the text cat form. Cat form? What is a cat form? What? Take that code. What did that do? Oh, nice. Now you will add a web form to collect information from users. After the cat form heading, add a form element. Is that what they want from me? Nice. The action attribute indicates where form data should be sent. For example, form action equals submit URL. Tell the browser that the form data should be sent to the path. So I want to go form action equals form element. Oh, do I put it inside here? Cut, paste here. I think that's what it wants. Yeah. It wanted the action to be added to the very first one. The input element allows you several ways to collect data from a web form. Like image elements, input elements are self-closing and do not need closing tags. And that's an input element and the form element. Like that? That was easy. There are many kinds of inputs you can create using the type attribute. You can easily create a password field, reset button, or a control to let users select a file from their computer. Create a text field to get text input from a user by adding the type attribute and the value text to the input channel. It's inside of it. Input type equals. Is that all it wants from me? It's be in quotations. There it is in quotations. In order for a form's data to be accessed by the location specified in the action attribute, you must give the text field a name attribute and assign it a value to represent the data being submitted. For example, you could use the following syntax for an email address. Type input type equals text, and then space, name equals email. Add the name attribute with the value cat photo URL to your text field. Like that. Placeholder text is used to give people hints about what kind of information to enter into an input. For example, input type equals text, placeholder equals email address. Add a placeholder text cat photo URL to your input channel. So text equals blank. And space placeholder equals cat photo URL. Enter. Hey, it did it. Oh, I see. It says it like in the... Ah, interesting. To prevent a user from submitting your form when required information is missing, you need to add a required attribute to an input element. There's no need to set a value to the required attribute. Instead, just add the word required to the input element. Make sure there is a space. Input space required. Just like that. Use the button element to create a clickable button. For example, button click here button creates a button with the text click here. Add a button element with the text submit below the input. So button just like that. Oh, perfect. Now chat's kind of covering it, but now there's a submit button next to it. All right, next up. Even though you added your button below the text input, they appear next to each other on the page. That's because both input and button elements are inline elements, which don't appear on a new line. The button you added will submit Whoa, 5 gift subs. Stevo, thank you so much. The button you added will submit the form by default. However, relying on default behavior might cause confusion. Add the type attribute with the value submit to the button to make it clear that it is a submit button. Type equals submit. You can use radio buttons for questions where you only want one answer out of multiple options. Here's an example of a radio button with the options cat, input, type equals radio cat. Remember that input elements are self-closed. Before the text input, add a radio button with the option set as indoor. Input type equals radio. And then indoor. Did that do it? Is that what I wanted? Oh, that worked. Cool. Now it has that little button next to it. Label elements are used to help associate the text for an input element with the input element itself, especially for assistive technologies like screen readers. For example, label input type radio makes it so clicking the word cat also selects the corresponding radio button. Okay, now we can actually click the word indoor for it to activate. Yeah. The ID attribute is used to specify specific HTML elements. Each ID attribute value will be unique from all other ID values for the entire page. Add an ID attribute with the value indoor to the radio button. When elements have multiple attributes, the order of the attribute doesn't matter. So do I go ID equals indoor in quotations, indoor, int? Your radio button should still be located between the opening and closing tags of the label element. Where does it go? Oh, it just goes somewhere else within it. Traditionally, it's the first attribute. Okay, it'll probably fix it right here then. It does, yeah, see, right here, you're right. Label, input, ID equals indoor, type equals radio. Okay, create another radio element below the first one, nest it inside a label element with outdoor as the label text. Give the radio button an ID attribute as well. Can it just be called label again, like this? Label, input, ID equals outdoor, type equals radio, and space outdoor / label. I'm just like copying the same thing. Perfect, that's cool. Actually, there's like 2 options now. You can also switch the order of type and ID. Order doesn't matter, but ID is written first to keep code readable. You guys are helpful. Thank you. I don't think I could learn this without you guys. Notice that both radio buttons can be selected at the same time. Oh, can they? They can. And you can't unselect them. To make it so selecting one radio button automatically deselects the other, both buttons must have a name attribute with the same value. Add the name attribute with the value indoor minus outdoor to both radio buttons. Does it matter where I put it? Put name equals indoor minus outdoor space, quotations, and then let's copy and paste it. Should work. Am I not covering too much of this? I hope not. All right, let's see if that works. It did. Step 49. If you select the indoor radio button, let's see what happens. Indoor. Okay, now it's just one or the other. Perfect. If you select the indoor radio button and submit the form data for the buttons is based on its name and value attribute. Since your radio buttons do not have a value attribute, the form data will include indoor minus outdoor equals on, which is not useful when you have multiple buttons. Add a value attribute to both radio buttons for convenience. Set button's value attribute to the same value as its ID attribute. So value equals indoor, and then value equals outdoor. Hey, that is it. Okay. I actually figured it out. I thought it would be impossible, but then I just did it. The field set element is used to group related inputs and labels together in a web form. Field set elements are block level elements, meaning they appear on a new line. Nest the indoor and outdoor radio buttons within a field set element. And don't forget to indent the radio buttons. Field set. Field set. Okay, and put it inside like a box. The legend element acts as the caption for the content in the field set element. It gives users context about what they should enter into the part of the form. Add a legend element with the text. Is your cat an indoor or outdoor cat? Legend. Ooh, that's kind of pretty looking. I like it. And we're good to go. Next, you are going to add some new form input elements. So add another field set element directly below the current field set. Here we go. Woohoo! Add a legend. What's your cat's personality? Beautiful. Then forms commonly use checkboxes for questions that may have more than one answer. For example, here's a checkbox with the option of tacos. Under the legend element, you can add an input with this type attribute, set the checkbox and give it the option of loving. So input type equals checkbox outside loving. Except let's make it capital. Add an ID with the value loving inside. I'm going to put it over here. ID equals loving. Very easy. Whoa, Steve-O, what the heck? 10 gift subs. For the coding stream? Really? I'm just learning how to code, dude. Okay, we did that step. Next step is there's another way to associate an input element's text with the element itself. You can nest the text within a label element and add a for attribute with the same value as the input element's ID attribute. Associate the text loving with the checker box by nesting only the text loving in a label element and giving it the appropriate for attribute. I think it's saying go label / label and giving it an appropriate for attribute. I think it wants this to be like this. I think this should go up here instead. The new label element should have a for attribute with the value loving. Oh, not capitalized. There it is. Okay. Okay, I think I'm getting it. What's up, Captain Mangles? How you doing? Thanks for coming through. Learning how to code at the moment. Add the name attribute with the value personality to the checkbox input. While you won't notice this in the browser, doing this makes it easier for a server to process your web form, especially when there are multiple checkboxes. Is that what I wanted? Huh. Add another checkbox after the one you just added. The ID attribute value should be lazy, and the name attribute value should be the same as the less checkbox. Does it want a whole different thing? Input ID equals lazy. Your new checkbox should have an ID attribute with the value lazy. Yes. Name attribute. Oh, it's the name attribute. So I just wanted to copy that several times. Like that. On the right side of your new checkbox, there should be a label element with the text lazy. I need to put the words in here again. That's it. Moving on. Add a final checkbox after the previous one with an ID attribute value of energetic. The name attribute should be the same as the previous checkbox. Also add a label element to the right, labeled as energetic. Okay, let's see if I can do it. So input ID equals energetic, type equals checkbox, name equals personality, and then label for equals quotations, and then energetic, then loop. First try? Yeah, first try. There it is. Wasn't too much more, but how can it be lazy and energetic? We need to be able to choose one option at a time. Wow. Like radio buttons, form data for selected checkboxes are name value attribute pairs. While the value attribute is optional, it's best practice to include it with any checkboxes or radio buttons on the page. Add a value attribute to each checkbox. For convenience, set each checkbox's value attribute to the same value as its ID attribute. I see. So it's inside here, we're going value, wait, not there. Going value equals, instead of the same as this attribute. So we're going to go loving. And then right here, we're going to say value equals lazy. And right here, we're going to say value equals energetic. Yep. Let's see what it says next. I think it's doing checkbox. Oh, I think that's just what a checkbox is. Checkbox allows you to choose multiple at a time. In order to make a checkbox checked or radio button selected by default, you need to add the checked attribute to it. There's no need to set a value to the checked attribute. Instead, just add the word checked to the input element. Make sure there is a space between it and the other attributes. Make sure the first radio button, the first checkbox selected are default. Oh, they both need it. Nah. What is W3? Now you will add a footer section to the page. After the main element, add a footer element. Okay, footer. Easy as ice. That's the P element with the text no copyright. P, no. There we are. Footer's looking good. Make the text freecodecamp.org into a link by enclosing it an anchor element. So we want to go anchor space href equals this g like that. Go afterwards. Yeah. So ahref link, then after the anchor, then you go, okay. Notice that everything you've added to the page so far is inside the body element. Yes. All page content elements that should be rendered to the page go inside the body element. However, other important information goes inside the head element. Add a head element above the body element. Oh, back at the beginning now. What are we putting up there? The title determines what browser shows in the title bar. Add a title element within the head element using the text below. Title, cat photo app, title. Did that do something? Oh, that's like the title bar at the very, very top. 67. Notice that the entire contents of the page are nested within an HTML element. All other elements must be descendants of this HTML element. Add the lang attribute with the value en to the opening HTML tag to specify that the language of the page is English. So does it want language equals English? All pages should begin with DOCTYPE HTML. This special string is known as declaration and ensures the browser tries to meet industry-wide specifications. Add this declaration as the first line. Huh? What the heck is that? You can set browser behavior by adding self-closing meta elements in the head. Here's an example. To parse the markup into multiple languages by creating a meta element as a child of the head element. So meta attribute equals UTF minus 8. Is that what it wants? Oh, I need to set it. Charsa attribute. There we go. Oh shoot. We finished our very first thing. This is what we're going to build next. Let's go back to free code camp. Let's look at our courses. We have finished course 1, everybody. All 69 chapters. Let's go. We went from chapter, I think we did the first 15 on the first session. Then we went through 16 through 69 on the rest of that. Wow. Next is the cafe menu, and it has 91 steps. I am not going to try to do that today. I think I have took enough new coding information today. I'm going to turn it into a video, take my notes to review everything that I learned from the first one, because that was a lot to take in. But I feel like I already understand, it's hard to say what I feel so far, because I'm still so early. I'm just happy that I've got through my first thing. Like, we did it. I feel accomplished. Next session, I will probably try to do the first 45 steps of building a cafe menu. Looking forward to that. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Everybody keep telling me I got it. Source straight forged by the gods, I got it. Fresh tunic worn by a legend, I got it. Little top off, like rifles to courage and me. Bombs in my artillery. Hiding intense on my feet.